The colony of Eastridge was quiet in the early morning. Soft blue light spread across the forest moon and touched every metal roof of the human settlement. Most adults believed the forest around them was empty and safe. They taught children to stay inside the colony walls and warned them that strange shadows in the trees were only wild animals. But one small boy named Leon never believed that. He felt the forest was hiding something else, something waiting to be found. Leon was only 8 years old, but he had a heart full of curiosity. He loved following patterns on the ground. He loved collecting stones that looked like they came from another world. Each morning he slipped out while adults were busy with schedules and farming tasks. Today he noticed something new. Across the soft dirt road outside the colony gate, he saw glowing footprints. They looked like tiny lights pressed into the soil. They were not shaped like human feet. They were small, almost too small, maybe the size of a toddler, but the shape was different. The edges curved like petals. Leon felt excitement building inside him. He looked around. No guard was watching. Slowly he stepped out of the gate following the strange trail. The forest was calm, but the silence was heavy. Tall trees rose like giant towers blocking the sunlight. The glowing footprints pulled Leon deeper and deeper inside. He kept walking until he reached a small open space. His breath stopped. At the center of the clearing, he saw a small figure sitting alone beside a broken tree trunk. The figure was thin, small, and shaking. It was not human. Its skin was pale silver. Its eyes were large and filled with tears. It looked like a lonely child. Leon froze. He had never seen an alien this close. The colony had never reported signs of other beings on this moon. A voice inside him said run, but something else pulled him forward. The alien child was crying quietly. Its small hands were holding a cracked wooden carving shaped like a tiny bird. The wood looked old, like it came from a long-lost home. Leon slowly walked a few steps closer. The alien looked up in fear. It made a soft sound not in any human language. Leon raised both hands to show he meant no harm. The alien child watched him with wide eyes, still scared, but also curious. Leon took another slow step. He wanted to speak, but he was afraid to scare the child. He whispered softly, "My name is Leon. Are you hurt?" The child did not understand the words, but it understood the tone. It blinked away its tears. Leon looked at the broken wooden carving in its hands. The child was holding onto it like it was the last memory of someone important. Leon understood loneliness. He knew the look of someone who had no friend nearby. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his favorite toy. It was a small starship made from bright blue plastic. It had scratches and dents because Leon played with it every day. But to him it was special. It made him feel brave. He held the toy in his open palm and slowly stretched his hand forward. The alien child stared at the toy. Its eyes widened. Its breathing slowed. It hesitated, then took the toy gently with both hands. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a small smile appeared on its face. It was a soft smile, but it changed everything. It was the first time the child looked happy instead of afraid. Leon felt warm inside. He whispered softly, "I hope it makes you feel better." The alien did not know the meaning, but it understood the kindness. It bowed its head slightly. Then it tapped its chest gently like giving thanks. Leon smiled back. He had no idea this tiny moment was about to change the future of the whole colony. Suddenly leaves shook behind them. Something moved inside the bushes. Leon stepped back in fear. He looked around, but he saw nothing. Still the sound was clear. Something or someone was watching them. The alien child also heard it. Its smile faded. It gripped the toy tightly and looked toward the trees with worry, as if expecting someone to appear. But no one came out. Only the forest wind moved the branches. Leon felt his heart beat faster. He knew he could not stay longer. He pointed toward the colony to show he needed to go back. The alien child looked sad. It stood up slowly and touched the toy again, as if it wanted to keep this moment safe inside its heart. Leon waved goodbye, and the child copied the gesture with a small motion dot as Leon walked away. He felt someone was still watching him from the shadows. The glowing footprints behind him began to fade. He looked back one last time. The alien child was still standing there holding the toy, starship close to its chest. Leon did not know that by giving this small gift, he had just started an ancient alien tradition. He did not know that the forest tribe would see this as a symbol stronger than a promise. He did not know that 500 fierce alien warriors would march toward his colony because of this one simple act. Returned to the colony gate, humming softly, unaware that the quiet world around him had already begun to change. Asterisk. The alien child ran through the forest holding the small blue starship close to its chest. The toy felt warm in its hands, as if it carried the kindness of the human boy inside it. Every step the child took echoed with excitement and fear. It wanted to reach home as fast as possible, because the tribe needed to see what had happened. No outsider had ever touched one of their young before, and no outsider had ever offered a gift. The tribe lived deep in the untouched forest, where giant trees bent over their homes like protective guardians. Their houses were shaped from natural stone and living roots. When the child reached the entrance, 2 guards stopped it with sharp spears. Their eyes widened when they saw the human object. The guards exchanged quick looks, then led the child inside to the central gathering hall. Inside the hall, elders sat in a circle, around a fire that burned with blue flame. Their faces were old, and their eyes were sharp. They watched as the young one stepped forward. The leader of the tribe, named Roken, stood tall with armor made from bone and crystal. He looked down at the child and spoke in a firm voice, asking where it had been. The alien child lifted the toy with both hands. Its voice trembled as it explained what happened in simple, broken words. It told them about the human boy, the glowing footprints, the tears the moment the toy was offered. The hall grew completely silent. Every elder leaned closer. Roken took the toy carefully and studied it. He turned it slowly in his hand. His expression changed. He touched the smooth plastic with respect. The elders whispered among themselves. They recognized the meaning behind a gift like this. In their ancient culture, a gift from a stranger meant a bond of peace. A gift from a child meant something much deeper. It meant trust that crossed language and species. It meant protection. It meant honor. Only a fool or a friend offered such a symbol. One elder spoke softly, but his voice carried through the hall. If we do not respond, we insult the child. We insult the bond. We insult the ancestors. Another elder nodded. The meaning of the gift was clear. The humans had made the first move of peace whether they understood it or not. Roken stood straight and spoke with authority. A child does not give something unless the heart is pure. A child does not lie through symbols. This toy is a promise. If we do not return this promise, we break the laws of our people. The alien child watched silently. It hoped the elders understood that the human boy meant no harm. It hoped they saw the kindness in the toy. Finally, Roken raised his hand and said, "The humans have honored us. We will answer with greater honor. We will send our warriors to their home, not in war but in respect. They will know we stand with them." The hall filled with murmurs of agreement. The tribe believed in actions, not words. If someone offered trust, you responded with strength. And so the decision was made. 500 elite warriors would march toward the human colony at sunrise. These warriors were famous across many worlds. They wore heavy armor that glowed with energy and carried weapons carved from crystal stone. Their presence alone was enough to make enemies run. But today, they would not march for battle. They would march for a message, one that the humans could not misunderstand. They would kneel before the colony and declare that the gift had been received. The humans would be under their protection from this day forward, while the tribe prepared. Roken returned the toy to the child. "Keep this safe," he said. "This is the reason for everything that will come." The alien child held it against its heart. It remembered Leon, the small human boy who smiled without fear. It wondered if they would meet again. Back in the human colony, Leon had no idea what he had caused. He played with other children and helped with daily chores. He only thought of the alien child once or twice, wondering if it was still alone in the forest. He never imagined that at the same moment, 500 armored warriors were sharpening blades, polishing shields, and preparing to march for him. The forest moon grew quiet as night fell. Stars shone brightly above the treetops. The elders finished their final rituals. The alien child sat awake, staring at the toy starship, as if it held a secret message. Tomorrow everything would change. Tomorrow the humans would learn that a simple act of kindness can shake the ground beneath two worlds. Morning light touched the colony of Eastridge gently, but peace did not last long. Before the sun rose fully, the ground began to shake. At first people thought it was distant thunder. Then the shaking grew stronger. Dust lifted from rooftops. Water cups rattled on tables. Children grabbed railings in confusion. Something was moving through the forest, and it was moving with heavy force. The security scanners inside the colony flashed with alarm. Red lights spread across every screen. Officers rushed to the tower windows and stared into the thick forest. Their faces turned pale. A line of shapes was approaching. The shapes moved in perfect formation. They were tall, strong, and shining with strange armor. There were not 10. There were not 50. There were hundreds. The colony sirens blasted through the air. Workers dropped tools. Teachers pulled children inside the buildings. Families ran toward shelters. Guards assembled at the main gate, gripping their rifles tightly. The colony commander stood on the top platform, trying to understand what he was seeing. He counted the approaching figures again and again, hoping he was wrong. He was not. 500 alien warriors were marching straight toward them. Their armor reflected the rising sunlight. Blue lines on their chest plates glowed like living fire. Their weapons were sharp and carved from crystal stone. They did not run but walked calmly with powerful discipline, as if they were performing a sacred ritual. There was no shouting, no sudden movements, only steady marching that made the ground tremble. Everyone inside the colony thought the same thing. This looked like an invasion. The commander shouted orders. Defense shields activated. Soldiers took their positions behind barriers. The colony gate was reinforced. The people inside held their breath. No one had ever seen an army of this size so close. Not on this moon, not anywhere near human space. Leon was pushed into a shelter with the other children, but he kept looking through this small window. He felt something strange. Fear, yes, but also curiosity. He remembered the alien child from yesterday. Something deep inside him whispered that the two events were connected, but he did not understand how. Outside, the alien warriors finally reached the open field in front of the colony. They stopped only a few steps away from the gates. Their leader stood at the front. He was taller than the others, and his armor shone brighter. In his hand he held a small object. The morning light caught it and made it glitter. It was blue. It was plastic. It was Leon's toy starship. The humans gasped. The commander stared in shock. He had no idea how these warriors had obtained a human child's toy. The alien leader raised the toy high for everyone to see, then lowered it slowly and placed it on his palm in a gesture of respect. Then something completely unexpected happened. All 500 warriors bent down on one knee, their heads bowed. Their weapons rested on the ground. It looked nothing like an attack. It looked like a ceremony, a tribute, a message. The commander lowered his weapon, confused. He shouted toward them, asking what they wanted. The alien leader stepped forward. His deep, calm voice echoed between the trees. "We come in answer to a gift." He held up the toy again. "Who gave this to our young one?" The entire colony fell silent. Soldiers looked at each other. Civilians hesitated. No one moved. Then a small hand lifted inside the shelter window. It was Leon. The teacher holding him froze as Leon slipped out through the door and walked toward the gate. His steps were small but brave. He stood beside the commander and said quietly, "I did." 500 warriors all turned their heads toward the boy. Their eyes glowed with welcome, not anger. The leader looked at Leon with deep respect. He spoke again. "A child of your people gave trust to one of ours. By our law, trust must be answered with protection. We kneel before your colony as guardians. From this day, no harm will come to you." The humans were speechless. They had prepared for war, but were receiving honor instead. Soldiers lowered their weapons one by one. Civilians left shelters slowly, still unsure what was happening. The commander looked down at Leon with disbelief and whispered, "What have you done?" Leon did not know the answer. He only knew he had seen a lonely child and offered a toy. He never imagined it would lead to this. 500 alien warriors kneeling in front of the colony, waiting to declare loyalty to his people. And somewhere deep in the forest, the alien child watched quietly, holding the wooden carving in its hands, knowing that everything had changed because of a single moment of kindness. The colony stood in complete silence. 500 warriors remained kneeling in the soft morning light, their armor glowing gently like calm blue fire. No one had ever seen anything like this. The humans expected danger, but instead they were looking at an army offering respect so deep that it froze everyone in place. Leon stood small and nervous beside the commander. His hands trembled a little, but the alien warrior leader did not look at him with anger. Instead, there was kindness in his eyes and a calm strength that felt ancient. The leader slowly lowered the toy starship again and held it gently between both hands, as if it was some holy object passed down from their ancestors. He spoke with a steady voice. "A child from your people shared this gift with our young one. In our law, a gift is not simple. A gift is a vow, a promise, a bridge between two hearts. When a gift is given without fear, it means you have offered peace. You have offered trust. And we have come to honor that trust." The humans exchanged confused glances. They had never heard of such a tradition. The commander cleared his throat and tried to speak calmly. "We did not know your customs." The boy meant no harm. He only shared kindness. The alien leader nodded. "Kindness has meaning," he said. "Even if he did not know our ways, he acted with a pure heart. Our young one returned home carrying this symbol, and our entire tribe understood what it meant. We responded as our law demands. Honor must be answered with honor." Leon looked up at the alien leader. He whispered softly, "I only wanted him to smile." The warrior leader bent down slightly so he could see the boy at eye level. "And he did smile," he said. "And because of that smile, hundreds rose before sunrise to stand for you." Behind him, all 500 warriors remained still as stone. Every one of them had traveled a long distance to keep this promise. This was not a small act. It was something their entire culture took seriously. The elders of the colony gathered near the gate. They were unsure what to say. Some were relieved. Some were frightened. Some were amazed. Finally, the colony healer stepped forward. She was old and wise and always believed in peaceful solutions. She asked the alien leader gently, "What does this bond mean for us?" Now the leader looked over the colony slowly. His eyes were steady and thoughtful. "It means your people are under our protection. No harm will be allowed to reach you. No enemy will cross your borders. Until the bond fades, our honor stands with you." This statement shook the humans more than any threat. Protection from an entire alien tribe was something no human colony had ever experienced. The commander spoke again, trying to be polite but cautious. "You offer much, maybe too much. We do not want to take advantage of your customs, But the alien leader raised a hand. There is no advantage, there is only duty. If a child chooses peace, we must carry it with strength. Meanwhile, Leon stood quietly, but something inside him felt heavy. He did not want anyone to fight for him. He only wanted to help a lonely child. He felt a little scared, thinking his simple action had started something so big. The alien leader seemed to sense his worry. He placed the toy starship back into Leon's hands. "This does not mean war," he said softly. "This means connection. It means our people will speak with your people. It means our young ones will grow knowing each other. That is what a gift like this creates." The elders of the colony slowly relaxed. They saw no threat in the warriors. They saw discipline, respect, and calm purpose. The commander finally lowered the colony shields. The glowing barrier faded around them. When the shields went down, the warriors rose to their feet in one slow movement. There was no aggression, only grace. The alien leader turned toward his soldiers and made a short gesture. They responded by placing their weapons behind their backs, showing they were not here for violence. The alien child who had received the toy the day before appeared from behind the warriors. It looked shy but happy when it saw Leon. It ran forward and held the wooden carving toward him, wanting to share its only treasure in return. Leon smiled shyly. He touched the carving gently without taking it. The adults watched this small moment. They realized the connection between the two children was stronger than fear. The alien leader spoke one last time. "We will stay nearby for a short time. Our tribes must speak. Your people and ours must learn understanding. A new path begins here because of the kindness of one small child." Leon felt warmth spread through him. He did not fully understand everything, but he knew something big had happened. Something good. The colony that once feared the forest now looked at it differently. Not as a threat, but as a place where new allies waited. And as the warriors turned and moved to set up camp near the trees, the humans felt something they had not felt before on this distant moon. Hope. The day passed slowly after the warriors arrived, and the colony was still struggling to understand everything that had happened. Humans tried to pretend everything was normal, but the presence of 500 armored guardians in the forest made the air feel different. Children whispered in corners. Adults spoke quietly so they would not show fear. Even the birds in the trees seemed to sense a change. Leon sat on the colony wall watching the forest. He wondered if the alien child was still nearby. He wondered if they could become real friends, now that their people were no longer strangers. He held the toy starship in his hands, feeling its smooth surface. He did not know why, but something inside him felt heavy. Almost like a storm was coming. Just before sunset, the ground shook again. Not from footsteps. This time from the sky. The scanners near the watchtower began to scream with loud alarms. Guards rushed to their posts. The commander ran to the top platform. Everyone looked upward. 3 dark shapes were entering the moon's atmosphere. Their engines burned red like fire. Their landing patterns were aggressive, sharp, and fast. These were not peaceful ships. The scanners identified them as unknown craft with powerful weapon signatures. They were not from the tribe. They were not human. They belonged to someone else entirely. The alien warriors in the forest reacted instantly. Roken, the alien leader, looked up and his face turned hard. He spoke to his warriors in their own language, and they formed rows surrounding the colony like a living shield. Their glowing armor brightened as if preparing for danger. The commander ran to Roken, asking, "What are these ships? Who are they?" Roken answered without looking away from the sky. "Varkal hunters. They have been watching this moon. They seek the rich stone and hidden veins under your land. They are violent. They do not make peace. They take what they want." The humans froze. No one had warned them about such a threat before. This moon was supposed to be quiet, safe, and empty. Now they learned there was a hostile species already planning an attack. Roken continued. They were waiting for the chance to strike. Your colony is small. You would have fallen quickly. He glanced at Leon, who was standing near the gate. But the gift changed everything. When our young one returned to us, we saw the sign. We knew your people wanted peace. So we came. If we had not come today, you would have faced the Varkal alone. The adults looked shaken. They did not know whether to feel fear or gratitude. Leon felt a cold wave spread through him as he imagined the colony facing these hunters with no help. For the first time he understood how big the danger truly was. The Varkal ships roared above and circled once like predators choosing their target. The warriors raised their crystal weapons and took a defensive position. The humans hid behind barriers but stayed close to the alien soldiers. They trusted them now. They had no other choice. The sky darkened as the ships descended lower. Roken's voice was calm but firm. They will try to test us. They will fire a warning shot. Do not break formation. Do not show weakness. A sharp beam of red light burst from one ship and hit the ground near the colony wall. Dust exploded into the air. Children screamed from the shelters. Soldiers ducked behind metal crates. Leon squeezed the toy so tightly that his knuckles turned white. Roken did not move. He lifted his hand. All 500 warriors stepped forward at the same time and raised their shields. The glowing blue armor connected like a giant protective wall. Another blast came. This time it hit the shields directly. A huge shockwave rolled across the field, but the warriors held their position. Their armor glowed even brighter, absorbing the force. Humans watched in silence. If the warriors had not been there, the colony wall would have collapsed. The Varkal ships hovered lower as if surprised their attack failed. Roken whispered to the warriors, and they prepared for battle but did not attack first. Their law demanded they give the enemy a chance to back away. Roken looked at the humans one more time. His voice was calm. This is why we came. The bond between our children is not small. It saved your lives before you even knew danger existed. Tonight the Varkal will test us. Tomorrow we may need to drive them from this land. Leon stood beside him, feeling both fear and pride. He understood something important. His small act of kindness had not only brought warriors to the colony, but had revealed a hidden danger that would have destroyed them. The sun set behind the trees, turning the world dark and red. The Varkal ships stayed in the sky, watching and waiting. The alien warriors did not move from their defensive lines. They stood like tall, glowing statues guarding the colony through the night. Leon whispered to himself, I just wanted him not to be alone. But now none of us are alone. And in the darkness, the real battle for the moon was about to begin. Night settled over the forest moon, but it did not bring calm. It brought tension. The Varkal ships stayed in the sky like three burning eyes watching the colony. Their engines hummed with a low, angry sound. The humans stayed close to the alien warriors, knowing the protective shield of glowing armor was the only thing standing between them and destruction. Roken stood at the front line, his eyes steady on the sky. He knew the Varkal were not patient. They would not leave without taking what they wanted. He lifted his hand and his warriors spread out, forming a circle of defense around the colony. Their armor shone brighter in the darkness like living stars on the ground. Inside the colony, parents held their children close. Workers tried to stay calm, but fear moved through everyone. The commander walked from one end of the gate to the other, checking weapons and barriers. His hands shook slightly, even though he tried to hide it. Leon sat near the wall with the alien child beside him. They both watched the sky. The alien child touched the toy starship again, as if it gave him strength. Leon whispered softly, "Do not worry, we have strong friends now." The alien child nodded, but his eyes showed worry. He knew the Varkal more than the humans did. He had seen their raids before. He had heard stories of their cruelty. But he also trusted Roken and the warriors. He trusted the bond created by this simple gift, Above them, the Varkal ships changed formation. Red lights blinked along their sides. Roken watched closely. He knew this sign. It meant attack. He raised one arm and shouted a single command. Shields! All warriors lifted their crystal shields. A thin blue dome formed around them, connecting their armor energy into one giant barrier. The first blast hit. A beam of red fire shot from the sky, smashing into the shield with a thunder that shook the trees. The shield rippled. The warriors grunted but stayed firm. The humans ducked behind walls, but no one ran. They watched with wide eyes as the shield held. Roken shouted again, "Hold the line!" Another blast came. This one stronger. The ground cracked under the force. Dust flew into the air. The shield flickered, but did not break. The warriors pushed back with their energy. Their armor glowed brighter than before. The Varkal ships grew angrier. All three fired at once, sending 3 beams of red destruction toward the same point. The impact exploded like a star hitting the ground. The noise was so loud that even the forest animals fled into the deep dark. For a moment no one could see anything through the dust. Then, the glowing blue shield appeared again, cracked, weak, but still standing. The humans gasped. The warriors stood silent, but their breaths were heavy. Even their strength had limits. Roken knew they could not take many more hits like this. The commander ran to him. "If they break through, we are lost." Roken nodded. "Then let us make sure they do not break through." He pointed toward the open field. Warriors pulled out long crystal spears. When activated, they shined with blue lightning. The humans had never seen weapons like that. They looked ancient but powerful. Roken lifted his spear. He did not shout. He spoke in a calm, strong voice. "For the young one. For the bond. For honor." 500 warriors responded as one. They charged forward. The moment they moved, the Varkal ships fired again, but now the warriors spread out in patterns. Their armor absorbed part of the blast. Their spears threw arcs of blue lightning toward the sky. The beams hit the ships and pushed them back slightly. It was not enough to bring them down, but enough to force them higher. The Varkal pilots responded by lowering metal claws from the ships. They planned to grab the colony walls and tear them apart. Humans panicked, but Roken saw it. He raised his spear again and threw it with full strength. The spear flew like a bolt of lightning and hit one claw. It shattered with a flash of blue light. The other warriors followed. Spear after spear shot through the sky, creating streaks of light. 2 more claws broke. One ship trembled, losing balance. Leon watched with wide eyes. He had never imagined such a battle. The alien child stood beside him, whispering words in his own language, as if praying for the warriors. One Varkal ship suddenly fell lower, maybe damaged by the lightning. It fired wildly, hitting the ground just outside the colony. The blast knocked several warriors to the dirt. Roken ran to them, but they stood again, refusing to fall. The humans realized something important. The warriors were not fighting for territory. They were fighting to protect Leon, protect the colony, protect the bond made by a toy. Hours passed. The sky glowed red and blue. The forest shook. Finally, the Varkal ships pulled back. Smoke poured from one of them. Their formation broke. They were retreating. The humans cried with relief. The warriors did not cheer. They stood still, watching every movement of the ships, until the sky grew quiet again. Roken walked to Leon, his armor dimmed from exhaustion. He placed one hand on the boy's shoulder. "Today we stood for your kindness. Tomorrow we may face them again. But remember this. You are not alone now. None of you are." Leon looked at the warriors glowing softly in the dark field. For the first time he understood the power of what he had started. A simple toy. A simple moment. And now 2 worlds stood together against the storm. Morning arrived slowly after the long night of battle. The forest moon looked peaceful again, but everyone in Eastridge knew the peace was fragile. Smoke still rose from the ground where energy blasts had struck. The colony walls were cracked in several places. Humans moved carefully between broken crates and shattered soil. They whispered in tired voices. But despite the damage, no one had died. The alien warriors had protected every person inside the colony. Roken and his warriors stood together on the field, catching their breath. Their armor no longer glowed bright blue. It now pulsed softly like a heartbeat. They were tired but still alert. The Varkal ships had retreated, but that did not mean the danger was gone. Everyone knew they would come again. The only question was when. Leon walked through the colony with slow steps. He carried the toy starship in his hands. The same toy that started everything. He felt proud and worried at the same time. He knew he did something good, but he also understood that this small act had drawn two worlds into conflict. He wondered if the alien child felt the same. When he reached the gate, he found the alien child waiting there. The child had a few scratches from falling during the battle, but it smiled when it saw Leon. It touched the wooden carving again, and then extended its hand toward Leon. Leon gently touched it. No words were needed. Both children understood the same simple truth. They were friends now. Roken watched the two children from a distance. He walked toward them with slow steps. His voice was calm but firm. We must prepare for the next attack. The Varkal will not give up. But before we begin, we must speak with your leaders. Our tribes must join not only in battle, but in spirit. The commander and colony elders gathered near the gate. They had seen everything. They had seen the warriors protect them without hesitation. They had seen the Varkal almost destroy them. And they had seen their colony survive because of one small connection between two children from two different worlds. The commander bowed his head slightly. Your warriors saved our lives. We cannot repay such strength, but we are grateful. Roken shook his head. You repay it by honoring the bond. We do not fight for land. We fight to protect the child who gave trust to our young one. The elders looked at Leon, then at the alien child. They finally understood. This was more than a friendship. It was a symbol. A bridge between species. A connection strong enough to move armies. The healer spoke gently. Then let us build something new together. Humans and your tribe. Not enemies. Not strangers. Something better. Let us build an alliance. Roken nodded. Our people will stand with yours. We will share knowledge and defense. We will watch the skies together. If the Varkal return, they will face both of our worlds, not only one. The humans felt relief for the first time since the battle began. An alliance meant safety. An alliance meant hope. Roken turned to the alien child. Come stand with him. Let everyone see the reason for this new path. The alien child stepped beside Leon. The two children stood at the center of the gathering. One human. One alien. Both small. Both innocent. Both holding symbols of their worlds. Leon held the toy starship. The alien child held the wooden carving. Roken raised his hands and spoke loudly so all could hear. These two hearts began a bond stronger than fear. Stronger than war. From this day forward, let our tribes walk together. Let us protect them and let them guide us. The alien warriors tapped their weapons on the ground in agreement. A deep sound echoed through the valley. The humans felt the vibration in their chests. It was the sound of unity. Leon looked at the alien child and whispered, We did this. Together. The alien child nodded and gave him a small smile. It was a quiet moment, but powerful enough to change the future. The commander stepped forward. We will repair our colony. We will strengthen the walls. But we will also build a place where your people may visit and stay. This moon is big enough for all of us. Roka and responded with calm pride. and we will build our camp nearby. We will patrol the skies and the forest. Your safety is now our honor." The sun rose higher. Its light touched the two children, first then spread across the humans, then across the warriors. It felt like a new beginning. Later that evening, the humans and alien warriors shared food near the forest edge. Children played together. Leon and the alien child sat on a fallen log building a tiny model ship out of sticks and leaves. It was not perfect, but it was theirs. A symbol of their shared future. As night returned, looked up at the sky. He no longer felt scared of the darkness. He knew they were protected. Not just by warriors, but by friendship. And high in the sky, beyond the clouds, the Varkle watched. They were angry. They would return. But when they did, they would not face one colony. They would face a united people. A human child and an alien child had changed everything without meaning to. Their bond had created an alliance that would shape the future of the moon, and the legend would one day be told like this: small toy brought two worlds together. A small moment created a peace strong enough to fight a war.